What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? It's, of course, Start Swing Trade, where we talk about the swing trade action on the day and, of course, take a look underneath the hood. What stocks move? Where are the sectors rotating? And, of course, on a day like today, the choppy lands out there. I know it was a tough trade out there. Let me know, you guys, how was the trading action for you? I know I had some tough day trading action and didn't take a new position, just stayed with what I had because it just seemed like there was some choppy trading today. Let's talk a little bit about that. You guys can see it here in the SPY. Right before the open, we get that GDP number. It seems all good. It pulls right back down here towards the open. Right at the open, we get another spike right back to that level, and then it gets smacked again, right back down. Seems to me like, what are we getting? We're starting to get what? An expanded volatility. And so you're seeing these stocks like NVIDIA, the SPY, the Qs, different stocks, right? Whether it be the indexes or it be stocks themselves, making huge up moves and huge down moves. So volatility is increasing. And when volatility increases, we need to be careful with doing what? We're doing over trading, especially if volatility is increasing, but it's staying within the range. It's not giving us the continuation. It's just going this huge up move, huge down move, up move, down move, up move, down move. And that's easily how we get into this over trading habit. Today was one of those days for me where I can say, yes, Mitch, you over traded today. You tried to take too many opportunities and maybe push the gas pedal a little bit too much today. And so I am in the red on the day trade. Of course, I'll let you guys know a little bit about the prop and how that's looking right now. I've actually been pulling it up here. Let me actually get that logged in here so I can show you guys, yes, I am down today. And like always, one of the things that we want to do is find out how we can capitalize, right? And so I'll show you guys that right now. It was a tough day, that it was indeed. I'll show you guys the trade action. You guys can see I'm down 223 today. Not going to, just full transparency. Look at all the trades I did today. And that kept going after it, kept going after it, kept going after it. And I think that this is when we need to catch ourselves, right? You can see it here. I first, right off the hop, might have risked a little too much there in that Joby trade. Maybe just not taking the right risk to return there and risking about 59, which wasn't too bad. But then again, I went after it with the SQQQs. The problem here was I did not take the profits when the profits were available, because I easily could have had 60 something, $70 on here and been bouncing back into the green. Then I took another hit there on Starbucks. It just started kind of snowball effect, right? Then Starbucks, we start actually getting into the green. It's deep into the green, about $100. And I don't take it off. I take off some of it and let it come back and actually hit the rest of it on this stop even, which wasn't a loss, right? You can see that break even. But just battling and battling and battling and not being able to get into the green today. And there's certain times when we need to pull the plug quick. Today was one of those days where we just needed to pull the plug. So it was a tough day, and we'll keep going. We'll see what happens. The Qs are coming down a little bit more. But one thing that I will tell you guys in the SPY that's going to help us play out of that range is using hourly charts. Hourly charts help us play within that range versus trying to, of course, call that range. Like, is it breaking to the upside? Is it breaking to the downside? Well, you guys see it here. The SPY's just been staying within an hourly range. Hourly support, trend line, just continuing higher. You do get these extreme wicks, which make it even harder to trade off of these. So just be careful out there, team. It's not an easy trade by any means right now. And so we just got to do what? Just got to be careful right now and just keep protecting the account. Overall, still up on the account, of course. Was building this up, got it close to about 500. So today, back to like 256, 255.92. And so, yeah, taking a little bit of a step back, but trying to keep this going towards that 1,000 mark. Then I can start taking some bigger shots to hopefully get a bigger trade in. We'll see what happens there in the SPY. and now battling back to the upside. So the Qs could turn around here towards the close. It just seems like it's choppy trading right now. And when that chop comes, it's very easy to get just chopped up within the trade. I talked about how this 362.50 area, it seems to me like there's some institutional buying going on. And then you get this move back towards 364.50, and then it just smacks right back down. It just seems like it's a tough trade right now out in the markets. Let's catch up with you guys in the chat. It's good to see you guys out there. Raz, EKS out there. What you taking a look at, man? All right, we got Jay Rice, got an email from the chart report today. Lo and behold, a Spencer finding, hope he sold his pot stocks. Uh-oh, the pot stocks, MSOS. He probably still has it. Knowing Spencer, he's more of a long-term hold kind of guy. He learns a lot from Joel Elconin, right? Raz, always here, man. And I think that that's an important thing, right? There's a lot of people that won't show you that transparency, right? Won't show you that they have red days and that they fall off the wagon a little bit some days. The truth is, we're all traders. We're going to do it. We all got to be able to admit mistakes. The faster you do that, the faster you get better. That's what's important. The faster you admit, I don't know everything, well, that's how you're going to start going into the green. Start focusing on the process. Improve. Because the truth is, if you're not making improvements as a trader, you're just going to get wrecked. All right, let's get into the market. Let's take a look at what else is going on. Let's go to the swings and take a look. Money Mitch, tried a swing trade holding for 2 to 3 days. Nice rally this week. I agree. I mean, I'm completely in agreement in that. And I think that this just goes to show me more and more how swing trading is my bread and butter. You guys see it. With day trading, I make steps up and then make a little bit of a push back. That's where in swing trading, I can really kind of take off. And that's why I love to swing trade. Let's talk about the swing trades today. XOM, an interesting one back up there to 106.33s. Keeping an eye on WTI. What's going to happen with oil? Are we going to get back above the 70s and actually hold? Today, we got above the 70s, went to 70.45. And now we've just been clicking and just staying like right close above the 69.50s. Haven't really made that push above the 70s, but it isn't looking good, team. It is looking like maybe we should have just taken all the profits out at 102s. But I've been waiting for a little bit of a bigger breakdown. Now I think the big thing that we need to do here is kind of take a reassessment of what we're seeing on the chart and if this is a stronger turnaround or not, right? And so one thing that I would point to is just kind of start with what you see versus what you think the pattern is, right? And so you can see here, there's like kind of a trend line here, and I'm going to draw this a little thicker because I know that it's a little bit harder to see here. So there you guys see it. I'm going to make that a little bit thicker there. And so this is kind of the trend line that I think we're going up to. And so now I have to make the decision, right? Am I okay with this stock coming back towards my entry? Yes, but it's going to be pretty close there because my entry is at 108.42. So we're talking slightly below this 108.50. So one of the things that I really need to focus on is, am I going to allow this to come all the way back there and then look to see if it comes back down? Well, the truth is, if I didn't take profits at 102, 103, 104, 105, at this point, it's looking like it's just going to be the hold of the break-even stop out. So it's either going to come back and stop me out, or it's going to come right back down and use that as resistance. So we will see what happens there if it does come back towards that 107 and above. But that's just goes to show you, right, guys? You've got to be quick sometimes on the profits. Now, when we talk about Chevron, right, I'm still in the green on these positions. It's not like I'm not in the green, and I have taken some profits. So regardless, these will be winning positions. But I'm looking for that little chunk more. And that little chunk more sometimes can be just as hard to get as the first chunk. All right, we'll see what happens in Chevron if it can make that leap back there towards the 159 and the 160s. So with this chart, what do I see here? Well, I see a little bit of a topping action, a little bit of the next top. Will we come back to 159? Yes, we could come back to 159. And in Chevron, I don't have as good as a position. I'm between the 158 and the 159. I'm in there at 158.49, and this could come back and stop me out, break even on the rest. So what I'm going to do for Chevron is establish a stop out that would take the profits before it gets there. So for Chevron, I'm going to do 156.57 area. So I'll just round it up there, 156.60, and we can go ahead and set that stop there and see if it comes back up towards that level. Of course, it isn't the biggest position, so I'm not stressing too much about that. The biggest thing, though, just got to make sure that I canceled that other order that I had right here. And just give me 1 second as I'm going to go ahead and just cancel that right there. There you go. Just got that out there. Boom. Doesn't look too bad. We'll see what happens there on, of course, Chevron if it gets back up above that level on the swing trade. All right, let's keep going. Let's get to the other swing trades that I have on. There is one that's going really well for me, and that's QuantumScape. Let's talk a little bit about that. Of course, why am I trading QuantumScape? Well, the reason why I'm trading QuantumScape is, of course, all the Toyota mentions about the solid state battery. And of course, what did we see today? We saw multiple stocks in this area start getting a little lift. Freyr batteries. Did you guys see this one today? FREY. I've actually interviewed them before. I'm looking to maybe do another interview. We got to do a little bit of an update, find out what's going on. But battery plays starting to get a little bit of a lift. This made a move here almost to 10 today, and you can see it. It's starting to really get a little bit of a push. So QuantumScape is one that I'm going to keep just driving higher. I got this one at a nice entry and an add entry, right? Because this was coming down. Have an average at 695s. So I'm down here, guys. This is looking great for me as we're getting up there to the 770s and looking for it to get back there close towards 790s, 8, and then I can start taking some profits. Today, we got up there towards 785. I'll be looking for a little bit of a push towards 8. If we can get above that 8, I wouldn't mind it. I'm up 10% on this position and just looking for it to continue to climb up. We'll see what happens there in QuantumScape. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on. Soon it's going to be UNG time, Mitch. Michael, you know what? You let me know when that happens because I'm not even going to look. You know how I feel about Boyle. It's on the ban list. I can't trade it no more, man. All right, let's see what's going on out there, team. It's good to see you out there, Kevin. How's Florida? I've heard it's hot out there, man. 100 degrees. I'm sure Lakeland isn't doing much better right now. Generac plus 0.3 resting. Yeah, it's just taking a little bit of a kind of a sideways step. All right, we'll see what else is going on. There's 32 names up 40%. I mean, hey, Jay, you know, one of the things that I would take a look at is look at this, right? I did a graphic for PreMarket Prep that I showed kind of that it was just a few stocks that were going up, not all of stocks. And I think that that's the important thing to look at, right? There's going to be a lot of different kind of data that you can look at there. The truth is that this has been a tech run, right? That's what this has been. This has been a AI-led bubble that has brought the markets back up. It hasn't been the fundamentals. It hasn't been even the interest rates slowing down. It's been this AI bubble. If NVIDIA never made that move where it went from 100 towards 400 again, I don't think this ever even happens, this move up. But hey, it's just how it is. And I think one of the things that we need to always try to keep in mind is that the markets can come out of logic and back into logic just as quick. So we'll see what happens. It has been just a few names that have led this huge rally. That's what I definitely agree with, because overall, you look at the SPY, you look at the Qs, and it's the bigger boys that are leading this rally. I completely agree with that outlook, and that's just basically based on actual, statistical data. But the truth is, it's been a hell of a ride, and this ride can keep going. It doesn't mean the bubble has to pop just yet, and it seems like there's a lot of stocks that are still able to hold right now. We'll see what happens in the Qs today. If it does just take a hard down towards 362 here towards the end, normally I would take a day trade on this. Normally I'd be like, all right, let's go SQQQ here. look for a pop through 20s, but I don't have ammo today. I've used up my ammo in the day trading action. So I could maybe do an SQQQ swing, but that doesn't make sense either here because I would have to be looking for a bigger breakdown coming in to the weekend. I'll have to wait to find out. All right. That's wrong too. Airlines, cruise, ships, materials, all ripping. Yes, but the problem is the effect that those have on, let's say, the SPY and the effect those have on, let's say, the Qs. The truth is, those airlines, cruise, materials, they don't carry the indexes. That's what they're talking about, Jay. But hey, to each his own, right? I think this is kind of a battle that, yeah, we could go on about this for hours, right? Does it mean the airlines and cruise and ship materials haven't been ripping? No, but at least I can say one thing, that at least I was able to be on top of the airlines and cruises before they took off. So at least we can be proud about that one. All right, let's take a look at what else is going on. American Airlines. Will this ever give me a little bit of a pullback to get? I mean, I'm looking for one, man. A pullback to 16 and call me a buyer in American. I'll take it again, man. I just need this to get me a little bit of a pullback. These stocks have gone way too fast to the upside. I mean, UAL kind of pulling back today. That's a sign that we could see a little bit of a topping action here in even Delta. We'll see if these can continue grinding higher, but look how that looks a little bit like a hanging man here and a little bit of like an evening star pattern here. It doesn't look the best there on the daily. We'll see what happens towards the end. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look into the sectors. Basic materials going higher today. So just to kind of mention some things that you're stating there, Jay, let's take a look here. Coal finally getting a little bit of a bounce. Will coal ever get another run? We'll find out, right? I'm keeping an eye on it. It does look like it's trying to get going here. METC is one that I kind of keep an eye out for on a monthly chart. We'll see if this can kind of actually get the move. BTU, AMR is probably best of breed right now and really hasn't come down even with the turnaround that we saw in coal. Will this one make a move there to 170? Doesn't look too bad there, AMR. All right, let's go to gold. Gold got hit this morning, but bouncing back rather quickly. You guys can see it here from the chart. Really kind of opened up pretty down, but got a nice little lift there. AU having a good day there. GOLD having a good day back towards 1650s. Is this an area that I'm looking at? Not really right now. Specialty chemicals having a decent day. That's starting to lift. This looks like something that I could keep an eye out for. Of course, when we're talking about this, you got to keep your eyes on some of the high capitalization names. Specialty chemical name Sherwin-Williams. This is actually one that actually is looking like it's getting going here. Look at the weekly chart. Look how this kind of had like an inverse head and shoulders. Now really starting to take off here. Another way to take a look at it is just draw this trend line. And you can see how ever since then, when we got back above this 235 level, we really started holding. Now I can look for pullbacks, but man, big week there for Sherwin-Williams as this continues to drive higher. Keep your eye on it. ECL, Ecolab, that's continuing to drive right back to the upside. ALB, some specialty chemical names. We'll keep an eye on that. Lithium. What's going to go on in some lithium names? Will we get a run there? LAC doesn't look too strong. MP, how's that? That's looking like it's found a new bottom, trying to start coming back. I'll keep an eye out on like ALB, SQM. We'll see if these chemicals can actually start getting going. SQM doesn't look too bad, especially if it can make a move to like 75. I'll have to keep an eye out for it. Only place to find the swingers, baby, right here. Money Mitch, you know it. And really, what other swing trade show is there out there? There's too many people that talk about swing trading, but not willing to show you their positions, not willing to tell you how they swing trade. That's what I try to do for you guys right here on Benzinga. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other stocks in the market. IWM getting in a little lift today. Of course, let's take a look. Financial services having a hell of a day today. I saw JPM right out the gates, And I can't blame my friend Dennis Dick this morning for thinking that the banks were just going to come right back down. It's like, was this just the easiest trade ever setting up? Did we think that the banks were really going to get hit on their stress tests? I don't think we did. But man, did we see that JPM was going to do a swing on 2 days of about 3 or 4%? Oh man, if we knew that one, we would have all played the financials. And it seems like that should have been the play because it made a hell of a move today back. Bank of America coming back. Goldman Sachs coming back today. So what a move there in the regionals, in the major banks. And the KRE didn't do too bad either. There was some that really got a lift today. Wall moving its way back up. But in the long run, I think we're going to run into some more regional concern. I know that the bigger banks might be okay, but these smaller banks, if we stay up at elevated rates for, let's say, longer than a year, I definitely think there's some kind of leak that could happen. All right, let's keep going. Like always, smash the like. Appreciate you, Leon, in the chat. Jazz, what's going on, man? If you can have a show where you discuss about your swing strategies, that would really be helpful. Yeah, I mean, that's really what I try to do here is at the end of the day is talk about how I look at certain swing strategies, right? And a lot of times, what do you see my outlooks are based on? They're a lot of the times based on daily, hourly setups, right? So how the intraday looks, let's say like on an hourly basis, and then also taking a look how that comes into play for like a daily outlook. Like I just talked about how on Delta, like this looks a little bit more toppy than I'd want to see here on the airlines. But of course, I'm looking for some pullbacks. So that's not looking too bad there if we do get a pullback on Delta after a recent run. I mean, this has been a huge run up on Delta and it's coming up towards some resistance, right? You can look to the left, try to see if there's some support here that is starting to act as resistance. And you can see in the prior kind of weekly, you can see right around here in kind of April 30th time, this was acting around support right around that. Now it's starting to act a little bit as resistance. We'll see if Delta turns back around. And of course, with swing trades, I think that one thing that I always like to talk about is just always knowing your risk to reward, right? And that's what really makes sense there, right? And if you're looking at daily charts, kind of sticking with that mentality, like I've been in Starbucks now for 4 days on the swing. Short, right? And the real key here is it's not getting me out, but I know where my out is, right? Which is that 99. It still hasn't shaken me on this one. I'm in that 98.42 short, and I'll look to see it. If it gets back there to 99, it'll get me out. But if it comes right back below, it'll go ahead and give me that nice little daily break. And then, of course, this is going to be more of a weekly break, monthly break if Starbucks were to break that support. Now, if it gets back above 99, I do want to get out because this could act as support and it comes right back up. We'll see what happens there in Starbucks and other names, but definitely smash the like out there, guys. If you guys are excited to kind of keep up with all this swing trade action, we'll see what happens in XOM. That one was probably one that should have probably maybe taken some profits there towards the 102. But let's keep going, team. It's about 3:31. I'm about to get to my guest, so definitely smash the like out there if you guys are excited to talk to some traders out there, right? That's what this show's about. Also, we're going to be getting into it in just a second here with Jason Shapiro, so definitely smash the like out there, guys. And if you guys are excited to go ahead and take a look at some more trade action, I tell you guys to take a look at live trading because really, that's where I open up a lot of the prop positions that I talked about a little bit earlier today. And definitely one of the things that I do is I talk about the swing trades there every morning. I give a little bit of an update about the setups that I'm looking at. And that's the way I go about the market, right? Now, today, basic materials, real estate, and utilities led from the open. That's what I always like to pay attention to. Not necessarily overall change, but change percentage from the open. And today, technology is actually red. And I think that's also important to kind of catch, right? What will we get in technology? Will it be able to hang on here and just take another run higher? I think that's one thing that we got to keep an eye out for. And just because we've gotten pullback doesn't mean that the Qs can't just rip back to that 366, Seems like that 366 level right above it is acting a little bit as resistance. We'll just have to wait and find out. All right, guys, smash the like out there. In a second, we're going to be getting towards our interview. So you guys out there, I want to see some likes. Hit it up right now. All right, let's go ahead. Let's pull down my charts and let's get to my interview. You guys smash the like. Hammer's excited. Jason's awesome. There you go. They're ready for you. Let's bring them on here. Jason Shapiro, how are we doing today? And I like the shirt, a little Metallica.
I just got this 2 weeks ago. I was at their show in Sweden.
Oh, man, I know you had to have loved that show. Definitely. You can't go wrong with a little Metallica. So, hey, it seems like this market right now has been a lot of rock and roll to the upside. So let's talk a little bit about that. Today, we got a little surprise GDP. And I think that, some people were out there already thinking, man, the soft landing idea for a while was a crazy narrative. But it's almost starting to play out now, especially as we see the economy staying strong. What do you think, at least from the surprise number that you saw today?
The surprise to me is that it's a surprise. I don't really know what these people do all day, but to me, you go out, you can't get a seat in a restaurant, you can't get a seat on an airplane, and it's been like
That's
that.
The truth.
It's been like that the whole year. So I don't know really what these Wall Street analysts do all day, other than try to desperately find something to fit their bearishness. And so they call for, recession, and despite everything that's in their face. So the surprise to me is that it's a surprise, quite frankly.
Yeah. I mean, I know what that is like, because I could just rewind the tape and just bring all the analysts, experts that I talked to last year that were telling me, stay the heck away from technology. Well, we've certainly seen how that has come into play. It's been a massive move in kind of this AI kind of driven move in technology. What do you think about this recent tech rally? Do you think it can keep holding here?
I think that the market can continue to go up. So that's the high beta stuff. So I don't see why that wouldn't continue to lead the market. I would personally, at this point, just based on the data that I look at, I'd be more biased toward being long Russell type of stuff here. I am not long the market here. I've gone flat about 2 weeks ago. We were long kind of all year and went flat just because of the way I trade. It has nothing to do with the way other people need to trade. But if I were to be long, I'd be long Russell here more than anything else.
Definitely, that's been a nice little upbreak in the Russell, and then I know that a lot of people were keeping an eye on that move to see when the Russell was actually going to partake in the rally. We've got a nice little up move here, and of course, today we saw that kind of move from the banking industry. There was a little bit of kind of interesting seeing that today with the stress test. I know that I don't think anybody out there was thinking that the banks were probably going to get hit on that stress test, but a surprise move in JPM today, already up about what? Now we're up about almost 3% here. What do you think about the banking situation? Was this just overblown?
I was reading an article today about how the banks are the ¡1 place that people are short here. And so I'm a big fader of consensus. So if the consensus is that, that banks are the place to be short, then I think the banks are clearly going to rip. My #1 fade in the world, whose name I don't need to get into here, but he is also short XLF, and this guy's wrong an unbelievable amount of the time. So I think that banks are probably pretty good here.
Yeah, let's take a look at another area that was kind of the leading area last year, which was energy names, right? We've seen today another mention from Oxy, of course, Warren getting a little bit more of Occidental Petroleum and moving up to 25%. How do you feel about energy overall?
I wouldn't be, again, doesn't mean it can't go up, but for me personally, energy is not the place to be. There's much better places to be than energy. You guys have been talking energy, forever, right? Except last year when it was the place to be. And now since then, now they want to be in energy and it goes nowhere. I think that's dead money personally.
Definitely. I mean, you can think about it for like Oxy, essentially from January, it's gone, 2% down? I mean,
and look, Warren Buffett, is in this thing for 50 years. So, you want to play with Warren Buffett, it's not a bad idea. The guy knows how to invest, clearly. But the thing will go down 20% and he'll buy more, You know what I mean? Like that's how he does it, right? So if you
Mhm.
want to play that way, if that's how you like to invest, sure. But if you're playing as a trader, then personally, I don't think that oil stocks are the place to be. I think there's dozens of other places. I'd rather be in the banks than the oil stocks.
All right. Now, of course, tech seems like the obvious place, but I'd like to ask you, what sectors or industries do you see opportunities now?
Yeah, like I say, I believe the bank story. I believe the Russell story. From here, if I'm to be long, that's where I would be long.
All right, that's not a bad one at all. And I did want to get a little bit more about your personality, get to learn a little bit. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you a little bit on is what is like a quote that sticks to you for new traders out there? We got a lot of new traders in the chat here trying to learn a little bit more about swing trading and getting into a little bit of different size positions than, let's just say, your average day trade. So what is a quote that maybe sticks with you?
The trader that I think is the best guy out there is Druckenmiller. And I think my favorite quote from him is, and this is a very smart guy, and it's obviously a very successful guy. You're talking about a billionaire who made his billions trading the market. And he has a lot of opinions that are very educated opinions, and he says them sometimes and he writes them. But my favorite quote from him is, I'm wrong far too often to count on being right to make money. And I think that's the most important thing that people have to understand. This game is not about being right or wrong. This game is about making money,
100%.
So that whole right, wrong thing, you got to get that out of your mind.
Yeah, I think it's part of, how we grow up, and we're always like,
Without a
trying to
doubt.
be right or wrong.
Without a doubt. This is all about getting away from all the things. This is what makes it so hard, right?
Yeah.
All the things that you have learned your entire life,
Exactly.
you have to get away from in order to be successful doing this.
Yeah, and a lot of that times is because for a while we were probably a little bit worried about failing a little bit, worried about, being wrong. But you get to a certain point where, especially trading, you get to this point where you're just like, I'm going to be wrong. It's not even a question.
You better believe it. You better believe it. And so the best thing you can do is be wrong, and be wrong small.
Yeah, be wrong small.
The quicker you can admit that you were wrong, the quicker you can get out of it and move on to something where you can make some money.
Exactly. And I feel like that's why I do this show, Swing Trading, is to show traders that, it's not always going to be, maybe grabbing thousands and thousands of shares of a penny stock that is going to get you to that success, but more along trying to just get into smaller positions and take multiple shots at the goal versus just take one.
100%.
No, definitely.
It's 100% the case. You can put all your money into one thing, and if it happens to work, you can make a whole bunch of money very quickly. But over time, that's not going to work for you, because you're going to put all your money into one thing and it's not going to work. And then you're going to be screwed, and you're not going to be able to get out because you lost too much money. And then it's going to keep going against you, and you're not going to be able to get out because you lost too much money, and you're going to blow out. And take it from me, because I've done that. These are all things that I have done in my life. I'm 55 now. I've been trading since I'm 22. These are all things that I have done in my life, and hopefully, knock wood, have learned from. And it's very difficult. I was just having a conversation last night with, is it possible for somebody to learn that without doing it? And I don't know that the answer is yes. I mean, that the answer is no. I think the answer is yeah. The only way to learn it is to blow out. Unfortunately, how many people are going to listen to somebody like me? Oh, who's going to listen to this freaking guy sitting in a Metallica shirt? Screw him, right? Okay. Well, then go learn your own lesson, but know that the lesson is there's a good chance you're going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah, and the markets always humble you. That's for sure. You can say whatever you want. They'll humble you. Just keep playing the game. Find out for yourself. Now I'm going to go through a little bit of some questions from the chat. I want to at least get to some of their questions they have here. One question is a little bit on PCE. Are you interested in the PCE report tomorrow? Is that something that would change your mind on inflation?
No. I think that the whole thing that people are going through with this inflation Fed thing, quite frankly, is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I think it's past.
Why is it bullshit?
Because everybody knows it. So there's no edge. You know what I mean? You can tell me the Fed's going to raise rate 2 times this year. Okay. What have you just told me that everybody in the world doesn't know? There's no edge there. So how are you going to make money off of that?
Exactly.
To me, it's complete and utter bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
And
unless
these guys
you knew
keep saying,
exactly.
The higher PCE comes out, the more Fed's going to have to raise, and theoretically that's supposed to be bearish the market. Well, every time one of these strong numbers comes out and the bonds go down, the stock market goes up, right? Why can't you make the argument that these things are good for the stock market because the economy is growing and theoretically that's supposed to be good, right? Nobody wants to make that argument anymore because they've all been bearish, right? They're bearish, therefore all these things should be bearish. But as we see, the tape tells you all,
Tape doesn't lie, man.
If you could have gotten on December 31st of last year, if you could have gotten every piece of data that we've had this year beforehand, okay, the bank failures, right? The extra growth, the interest rates, the Fed raising rates, where would you say that the S&P would be? You'd say it would be down 30 to 40% from here, right? But where is it? It's up whatever, 15%,
exactly.
right?
No,
so
that's true.
That's why I think I'm such an anti-fundamental person, not because I don't think that fundamentals are real, but because I think there's so many people following these fundamentals that they're baked in the cake,
Yeah.
So unless you can tell me a fundamental better tthan everybody else, which you cannot do, okay? You might once say, oh, I think the growth's going to be higher, and then it turns out higher. Okay, did that mean you were right? It means you guessed right, but you're not going to be able to do that over time, right? So that's why I think all of this stuff, for me, is bullshit, in particular when it's consensus, which is always what it is, because they all have to agree, because nobody wants to stick out on Wall Street. They all just want to agree, because if they all get it wrong together, well, then who cares? They don't lose their job, right?
Yeah, we see the analysts chasing price all the time, right? I mean, it happens all the time. Last question I have here from Jack F. He's asking, more long, what type of strategy do you more long trade? Are you looking for more of that short term, middle term, and what could be like an average position for you? Are you looking at weeks, months, or years?
Yeah, a few months. My typical position is a few months.
All right, not too. And you're
I'm
looking
I'm a market turn picker.
Nice.
I think sort of medium to major market turns based on excessive sentiment and based on excessive participation, right? So I follow these things, right? So a recent trade we put on was we got short British pound, all right? So I fully understand the fundamental of the British pound. They are raising rates very quickly while people are assuming that the Fed is coming close to ending raising rates. So therefore, the interest rate differential is bullish the British pound. Okay, I get that. But the issue is that everybody gets it, and people are way too long British pound. So we had a piece of data come out last week where the Bank of England raised rates more than expected. They were more hawkish than expected, and that should be bullish the British pound, and the British pound closed down that day. So to me, that's the tape saying this trade's ready to go the other way. So I get short British pound there. That's kind of how I trade, and I'll sit on that. Either I'll get stopped out, it'll take out the high, and therefore I'm wrong, right? If I'm trading a turn and the market makes a new high, then I'm wrong. So I'll get stopped out there. Or it usually takes about 2-3 months before these people start to pile out of it, and I'll get out.
I love that talk. And, I talk all the time about how, a lot of times we start looking for kind of a logical approach to the market. The truth is, there is no logical, 100% of the time, the way that the market's going to work. I think you're talking a lot about that right there, because even if the pound is supposed to go up, it doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way. And so even if you know the fundamentals,
not if everybody's already discounted it in, right? The market's a discounting process, and that's what people miss. This whole thing of, the market doesn't make sense to me. Well, the market doesn't make sense. Okay, so put that right out of your mind, because that's never going to work. All right, it's not supposed to make sense. If it made sense, this would be the easiest thing in the world to do, right? Go read an economics book or whatever and figure it out. But it doesn't make sense. It never will make sense, and it never has made sense. So if what you're doing is trying to make sense of it, you're playing the wrong game.
Love it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Definitely we'll have you back on, Jason. Definitely I'll throw up the link here for you guys. Give him a nice follow on Twitter. Check out his posts. It's always good to have you on, and we'll bring you back, right? I love this conversation, and I think it's really important to sometimes take a look at the other side of the coin. A lot of people just seem to stick on one side. Have a good one, Jason. Take care, man.
Take it easy, man.
All right. That was a great conversation there. And I mean, couldn't have said it better myself. And I think that a lot of times we can't try to just make it about what? About what's in a book. You know what I mean? What is this really going to do for us, right? Because if it was 100% this way, trust me, I would just literally just follow this book every single day. The truth is that we have to play a lot more in the market, right? We have to be thinking about the psychology of these moves. Is things baked in? Has the mentality already kind of hit right there, right? So like the Fed outlook is at most, right? Two interest rates hikes more, right? Maybe 50 basis points more. But the truth is the end of the road's already there, right? Now, I think what's more important is when will they actually go to a pivot? And for a long time, the CME Fed tool was pointing towards what? This year for a pivot. What do they keep telling you? It's not going to be probably this year, right? I don't think it'll be this year. It's stuff to focus on, right? But the truth is that you won't know, right? And if you do know, well, then maybe you could go ahead and play that. But the truth is if you're trying to stick with the fundamental news, a lot of the times you're going to try to put things to logic and just get wrecked. The markets come in logic and out of logic. That's the way I feel like a lot of the times. And can we know when it's trading logically? The truth is no. It's going to be more price action that leads, right? So start learning a little bit more about how the psychology really comes into play with trading, I think is an important lesson on today. All right, let's get to the markets. Let's take a peek back to it. Are we coming down here on the Qs towards the end? It looks like we're holding in here. It seems to me like that 362.50 area, 362.75, there seems to be a little bit of somebody that doesn't want to let it go there. And if you take a look at the hourly levels, you can see a little bit of support there. We're going to look to see if we get back above 366. I think that's an important level to kind of watch for tomorrow. But of course, today I did see NVIDIA kind of let go a little bit. This could always come back ripping. So you guys out there that are maybe taking a little bit of some short attempts out there on NVIDIA, just be careful. Know you're out. That's what I always say, especially you can take any trade as long as you know you're out, right? That's going to be the important levels. We'll see if NVIDIA keeps coming down. Will it crack 400 on the way down? Apple overall kind of hanging in there. Almost got to that 190 today, 189.37. Let's go to the SPY here. The SPY is doing a little bit better than the Qs. That's just showing you the rotation. So I drew this hourly chart here. You guys can see kind of that uptrending slope line right now. It's holding right there, the support. We'll see if it kind of can make that move up there towards the 438 and make it move higher. Of course, I did see lower volumes on the day. This could be because people taking a little bit of vacation right now. But, I mean, can you blame them? Of course, lower volumes today. We're going to close on the SPY about 47 million shares. Yesterday, we had 78 million shares traded. So definitely lower volumes right now, probably going to a little vacation style. All right, so we could see some lower volume, of course, on the SPY even tomorrow. Going into the holiday, of course, next week on the 3rd, we only get about, like 6 hours of the trading day. We're going to close about 3 hours earlier. We'll see what happens there on the 3rd. I don't expect a high volume day there. Will they sell this market off towards the end of the week? That's something to keep in mind. Fridays have been strong as of late. Will that turn around, right? The contrarian topic. All right, catching the chat out there. Great interview. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. Jay enjoyed that. Definitely, I see a lot of love in the chat. I'm going to definitely make sure we get that Twitter up there so you guys can give them some good follows. And that's what it's all about, guys. I hope that you guys really enjoyed that talk today. And so definitely smash the like out there, team. We're going to keep going here. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Any other tickers that you guys want to take a look at before we get out of here? It's about 3:51. I'm excited to go ahead and wrap up the day because it's been a crazy one. And I think we just got to keep an eye out for a little bit of a turn up here at the top. I feel like we're getting close to that turn. So I'm taking an eye on it. And I feel like eventually this bubble could go pop. But right now, Meta staying strong. Will this close below the 9 EMA? We're starting to break a little bit there. How the industrials do today? This is an area that I've been talking about that I would not take my eyes off, team. This keeps going higher. This is a move that a lot of people are like, nah, it's not going to keep going. Well, look at Honeywell. We talked about the 200 spot on Honeywell and how that looked good on the monthly. That's starting to really drive now. Nice little bunch up here. Now got through that 200 up to the 206. That probably keeps GE a little bit higher. GE continuing to push and staying within that channel, now pushing back up towards the top of that channel. RTX turning around a little bit today. UPS staying a little bit strong after bouncing back after getting hit on FedEx report. Let's take a look at CAT coming higher. Deere pulling back a little bit. This actually looks like an opportunity for me off the 400. I actually don't mind taking a little bit of a shot there off the 400 because I think this could go back up there to like maybe 440s. So what am I risking? About what? Maybe 2 points here for a move back up through 440s or 430s. Doesn't look too bad at all. Actually, you know what? I want a little piece of Deere. Let's get a little piece here. Let me see if I can get a little piece right now. All right, just got a little piece there, 401.44. We'll see what happens there on Deere. And let's see if it can go higher. It's kind of funny. My wife says that Deere might be my spirit animal. Maybe that's why I like to trading it. We'll see what happens. The antlers, man, the antlers. We'll find out on Deere if it can get a little move higher. Taking a little bit of a shot, right? We'll see if that can get a little bit of a lift there. It's already getting a little bit of a push. I like how that's pulled back. The CAT looks strong. Pakar is another name that I'd keep an eye out for. Let's see if this can eventually make it to the 90s and 100. ITW, Illinois Tools Work. This is stayed strong. Industrials, not an area that I'd be shorting by any means and has been pushing higher. And this is not even, these are kind of lower PE names that are starting to push higher. And that just also shows us that there's some pretty strong stocks out there and stocks that you wouldn't expect getting higher starting to get the lift. All right, let's keep going. I did see some stocks in the chat, so I'll go to those right quickly, and then we'll get out of here. Honeywell doing well because of the wildfires. Yeah, I'm sure that's definitely giving them a little bit of a lift, but that's not the only reason why Honeywell is going higher. I feel like the chart, it says it. All right, what other one? BT. Of course, you're talking Bit Digital. You're getting into kind of more of your miners like Hut, Mara, right? Riot. I've talked about how Riot's been lagging. If there's one that I think could take off, if Mara continues that new high mentality, right? Higher lows, and keeps driving higher, I'd look for Riot to take a big lift through that 12. Today, you got through it once. Can it get there again? There's definitely some resistance there in 12s. Probably a heavy seller there that keeps getting hit on a move up. So I'd look to see if you take him out on the level 2s, especially up there through 12, up there towards 1225. We'll see what happens on Riot if it can get that lift. BTBT, I feel like it's already keeps going. I would just want it to keep the daily trend and keep that 9 EMA, that light blue line on pullbacks. Just see that kind of hold. I could see it coming back here towards like maybe 414 and then trying to get another lift. It's been trying to hold this little push higher. We'll look to see if it comes back up through 450 tomorrow. That's a good level to look for the upside, for the continuation back towards 475 and 5. Where's the resistance? Look to the left. There's some resistance towards 530s and 512s. That's where I could see it slowing down a little bit. Maybe the move to 550 will be it. BTAI, not a name that I look at often, but this got destroyed. It's a therapeutics name. Nothing that I would touch. Therapeutics, stocks like that, you got to be very careful because stuff like this happens overnight, right? Where a stock goes 73% down overnight. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to be in any position that can go down 73% overnight. That would wreck me. I don't want to be in it. BTAI, I would leave this alone. I personally, a chart like this is a no touch. Top after hours, yes, could get the lift in tops. But remember, when you're going after a stock like Top, understand that a stock like this, right, it easily makes a dollar move, right? A dollar move is 11% or almost 11.5%. So understand how much you're risking on a name like Top, and then you can take a shot like that. We'll see what happens if this one goes up overnight and makes a move to 9 or 11s. I have no reason why this one's moving. It's just kind of getting the squeeze and could keep going higher. Be careful out there, guys. With Tops, does it mean you can't trade it? No, but just understand that this one's going to move massively. If you take a look at the daily chart, this has already moved about what? On the day, it's moved about $3.18. This average move on ATR is only about 75 cents. This stock only moves 75 cents. It moved 3 times the average true range today. So that's a pretty expansion on the average true range today on top. We'll see if that keeps moving. Mitch, what is a Nick play for Bitcoin? Can't remember one. What is what do you mean? What, you want to go long Bitcoin? You want to go short Bitcoin? What's your mentality there? And that's what I kind of need to know. I kind of didn't understand it. Is that a Nick Shaheen play for Bitcoin? Is that what you were asking? I just want to know, kind of understand what you were asking there. Long. So you want to go long on Bitcoin. All right. Well, the truth is, I mean, you could go after the coin itself, right? If that's what you wanted to do. Another way to play it is like we've been talking about it, playing the miners, right? Playing the names like Mara, playing the names like Hut, right? That's one way to look at it. Or a stock that holds a massive amount of Bitcoin, like MicroStrategy. That's a more expensive stock that actually has a business other than just holding Bitcoin, right? This one is starting to climb higher. And what I like about MSTR is that at least you can see patterns, right? Like this is the easy pattern here to read, right? This isn't a hard pattern for me to read. And I can tell you guys right now, this isn't too hard at all, right? So you get an up. Oh, I'm sorry, I grabbed the fan. Let me grab the pull line here. So you get an up one. You get that up one, down one, up two, down two, right? Up three, down three. At this point, I always look for a test back to that support and then a sweep back up. Look at this MSTR. Comes down, down three. This is our support. This is our area to look for a cut through, and it come right back up. 269. That day went to 266, then right back up. Look how it sweeps back up. That's what I look for. That's the Mitch rule of 3, baby. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's 3:59. We're about to hit 4 p.m. 15 seconds left. Smash the like, hold your nose. We'll find out what happens tomorrow in the market. Catch me on pre-market prep. We'll see. Can we continue grinding higher? Nike reporting tonight. Will Nike go higher? We talked about this one yesterday. We were taking a look to see if it was going to be able to hold. It is holding. And if a Nike report comes in good, will it lift off Crocs? Will it keep debt going higher? Will Foot Locker go higher? Of course, Foot Locker took a massive hit lately, but is trying to come back. Skechers, what about the Sketch? Up there, I'm keeping an eye on this one and looking to see if it's going to drop. But there's 4 o'clock. That's going to do it for us today. Pencils down. I hope you guys enjoyed today's action and enjoyed my interview with Jason Shapiro. Definitely want to thank him for joining on the show. It was definitely fun to talk to somebody that's a little bit more of a contrarian and not willing to, hold back. And there's a lot of people that just kind of go with the herd, and you can see it. He ain't going with no herd. I'll see you guys bright and early, pre-market prep. Don't miss it. Of course, we'll wrap up the week. We'll get PCE tomorrow. Massive inflation number. Let's find out if it plays any effect in the market. Smash the like. I hope you guys enjoyed Start Swing Trade today.